Dear audience, you are listening to Dr. Amarnath Chegu Badrinath, who is currently serving as the head of BIM strategy at L&D Construction. I also serve as a president for India BIM Association, which is a national initiative that focuses on digital transformation of Indian EEC sector. And here is my emails for your connects. I'm usually available on WhatsApp for any communications or queries related to BIM. You're welcome to connect with me. And today I'm going to discuss with you on a topic called BIM for construction safety planning. I do believe that in today's session, the audience would be probably the faculties or the students or the professionals also. So you would have heard of BIM before and the benefits of what it can bring for the projects. It may be a building sector or infra or smart cities. BIM has a lot to do for the digitalization of the projects, and it's also called as a digital data management for the projects. So BIM has key benefits for better construction safety planning, which can help you to avoid a lot of possible hazards on the site. So today I will be giving a brief on what are these possible benefits BIM can bring in. Before getting into the safety planning, let's understand what is BIM. From this slide, it's very clear from the starting of the slide. You have three items when we say about BIM model. BIM is nothing but building the information into the facility model. So usually you have three categories of data. One is graphical, that's about how detailed is your objects, and non-graphical, which is all about parameters for each of the elements in the facility, and documentation, any installations and fixtures and this kind of data. So usually these three categories of data keeps on maturing from the stage one of the project till the end of the project life cycle. And it's very much important to manage this data and to make sure that you get the right set of stakeholders get the data as and when they need in the project life cycle. And looking into the image again, there are different stages. As you can see, this is from the Royal Institute of British Architects life cycle phases. Phase one, it's all about the client and the consultant coordinations to look into the project requirements, and then comes a conceptual definition and design where usually the design team is involved, architectural, structural, MEP, along in coordination with the project management consultants and the clients developing the BIM model. And then followed by you have a contractor and subcontractor teams coming into the picture where build and commission happens and the handover of the facility happens. Followed by you have operations and the client and the user team coming in for better utilization of the BIM model or a digital twin that has been developed for facility management. Usually, we also speak about the level of detailed of information that keeps generated in each of the stages that you can see here. Now, it's 0 to 100 in a brief stage. That means you have only basic information on the site activity, site data captured, which we also call it as a planning model. Further concept design, it's a LOD 100 again, where you are developing a conceptual model of your facility to finalize the orientation, massing, and basic things. Based on this finalization, further gets into LOD 200 detail, where you have architectural and structural data getting built in, which we call it as a work in progress model. Followed by you have a design intent model with LOD 300. This is the kind of BIM model which is expected after the design phase to hand over to the construction team. And followed by once the construction team start using this BIM model with LOD 300 to 350, which can be used for further fabrication of the building elements and also for installations. And it can also be used for time, cost planning, and progress monitoring, safety, logistic planning, etc., etc. Here in where the site changes, whatever, because whatever we plan may not be the same replica coming onto the site, changes need to be updated back to the model that we call it as a as-built model. During the handover of the facility, you may need to deliver the as-built model so that this can be utilized by the operation team for facility management integrations. And here we call LOD 500 plus. So any changes that happens during the facility maintenance that need to be updated into the model. So here we call it as a record model. So whatever you hear in the market called digital twin, that's the thing model which is a replica of your physical asset. It's a virtual asset which is a replica of your physical asset that need to be handed over during the handover phase of the project. We also call it as a soft landing of projects. So I believe you get a clarity on what is this BIM, and to make sure these activities are going in flow. It's very much important to use of some BIM technologies. Maybe some softwares are used for conceptual design, some for a detailed BIM model development. Some softwares are used for coordination and for time planning, cost planning, safety, logistic, quality, and also for different types of analysis like energy, lighting, wind, structural, followed by for site activities and construction management. And also it can be used for facility maintenance. You have set of softwares that can be utilized for operations and better maintenance. That's where you have a smart facility management activities coming in. In simple terms, BIM is nothing but a data management which is getting generated across the phases of the project by different stakeholders and parties involved in the project. Looking into the BIM, the global initiatives, there's a lot of BIM related initiatives coming up in the global sector, and this is the courtesy goes for the Building Smart International, the image. As you can see from the image, more than 40 to 45 countries have these BIM related initiatives in the market already. That means most of the clients and the AEC sector participants have already realized the benefits of diffusing BIM in the projects. And there are different levels of BIM diffusion in these areas. Some clients have already mandated BIM for most of their projects, and some kind of private sector clients have already realized it and they take it as a mandate. Some companies have realized the benefits of BIM and they make it as part of their uh, journey for their organizations and upskilling the teams and so on. Coming into the construction field, I mean, it's very important when you look into the construction field, you have a lot of material shiftings and equipment movements and travel paths, and also the laborers and the site people moving here and there for site activities. It's very much important to make sure that safety precautions are taken. If not, there will be a lot of hazard situations coming into picture. And that's the reason where you have a better safety planning that can be done with BIM. Let me give you a brief on what are some sample of hazards that may happen on the site if no proper measures have been taken. As you can see here, there may be several type of hazards that may happen, and it's very much important to do better safety planning. It's very much important to make sure we use such BIM solutions for safety planning, which will also help to realize the possible hazard situations and avoid the risk, and make sure you have a safe construction sites and also for the operations. Here are some of the BIM softwares for construction safety planning. This has been from a reference of one research which our team has done before. And this, you can see there are some softwares which are very much supportive for the safety planning, for example, Fuser, Synchro, and there are also other solutions which can help to some level on safety planning. Let us understand what are the possible safety planning that can be done using this kind of solutions. And there are many other solutions, but I'm listing some of them for your reference. Number one, real-time monitoring and management of hazard sources such as safety signs, dangerous goods, and large machinery at the construction site use. Second one, like simulate the rescue scene and respond to the emergency management rescue plan. or virtual safety, virtual reality devices can be used for safety training to give first-hand experience to construction workers. These days, VR devices are not so expensive. It can be very well utilized for most of the construction site activities, no matter it is a small scale or a mid scale or a large scale company projects. Further, it can be utilized for the fire exit risk assessment simulations. You can also define the new rule sets in the softwares to identify the safety checks, and also possible measures can be taken on those lines. You can make safety planning proactive, easy to communicate, and engaging for the traders. The standardization of safety working environment, which is most important. So all these kind of simulations can be performed by using these BIM solutions. And it can bring you a lot of benefits for site and operation phases. And let me show you some of the videos which will give you a brief on how this BIM tools can be utilized for safety plan. There is one from the Fuser. For example, by using Fuser software, they have developed this VR safety training construction site. So all this kind of site activities can be completely simulated using such software applications. You'll be able to virtualize the BIM models and your equipments and the site simulations on day-to-day activities. What are the kind of scenarios and situations? Everything can be simulated, and possible measures should be taken on those lines. Here is a list that you can give for a site team which is going to enter the site. So they will be given a checklist and a proper guidance on what are the possible measures to be taken before you enter into the site. So here, if you can see the hazard list, so based on the hazard checklist, you will be able to make sure how many of these are followed, and a proper guidelines is given so that there a lot of risk can be avoided on the site activities. So the site worker is getting the glasses, helmets, and his devices, which is PPE passed. And now the site person is entering into the site activity, and there's an alert message coming in on the current situations. So there's a barrier that is need to be fixed on the place, and also giving on a fall hazard situations. These kind of indicators will help a lot for the site team to realize on the possible safety measures to be taken on the site activities on a day-to-day. So now he has fixed the safety barrier also. So here is a fire extinguisher which need to be taken and to avoid the fire. And he is now entering into the construction, and there's an indicator on the moving equipments. This mainly will give you a better immersive environment for the actual site activities, and then the possible measures can be taken. So here you get a caution on the moving equipment. So this kind of sessions can be done on day-to-day basis for the kind of situations on the site, and trainings can be given for the site team. And here is another video for you to understand the fall hazards. This again will give you clarity on what are the kind of safety precautions and barricades and things need to be fixed during the site activities. Here you can see there is an opening, and if that has not been properly realized, there is a fall hazard coming in. So what to be done? So you need to have the precaution trap fixed there. Safety precaution need to be taken there, so it's fixing that. So this kind of indicators will help a lot to understand what are the possible hazards on the site, and also take the possible measures and give the right instruction for the site safety team to fix those kind of situations. And here again, there's a hidden hazard nearby, and there's a fall situation that can happen. So then the safety precaution need to be taken. So there's a barricades that can be fixed along the side on these lines to avoid that fall hazards. Here is another video for you to give an idea on how these VR devices are used for safety training. Again, for the high-rise fall hazards. Now we are entering into the construction site. And as you can see, there's a high-rise structures and there's a lot of barricades which need to be done on the sites. So this kind of simulation can be performed before the site activities happen and possible precautions can be taken. And there's a dangerous zone here. This is mainly for fall hazard safety training. So what has to be done? So there's a rope that can be tied for the person who is working on that site so that it can avoid that kind of hazards. And during that trainings, it gives you danger zone alerts, which will help for planning the safety precautions on these lines. So there's a safety netting, which is important to be put across this site on these high levels. So the safety nets can be taken and installed on the site so that the possible hazards can be avoided. Here's another video for you to understand how BIM can benefit, the trainings can benefit for operation phase if there's a kind of fire situations. So this is for fire safety training, wherein there is a kind of fire attacks on the during usage of the facility. What are the kind of precautions to be taken? So the users should be aware of the fire extinguishers and the fire equipments that are available in that facility. And it will give you the step-by-step guidelines on how to tackle such situations. This is step one, identify the type of fire. And then step two, alert everyone on the fire by pressing the fire alarm. Step three is for pick up the phone to call for the emergency and the police department. And the step four, which is giving you a clarity on shutdown of the circuit breaker. Followed by using this extinguishers. Again, which extinguisher need to be selected, and then using that extinguisher for clearing that fire, which is a step 6 to put out the fire. All right. So these are the possible simulations that can be performed by using BIM models. Here are some lists which I like to discuss the kind of safety planning with BIM. Create a safety training with your BIM model. So using the BIM model, which has been delivered by the design team, you can do the site activities using softwares like Fuser and Synchro, and do the possible simulations on the possible safety precautions and measures to be taken, and alert the safety team on the site to activate that. Next, create interactive activities for safety training. Export video for safety training and demonstrations. Have a safety checking with height clearance and edge detections, and many other safety planning options are available. Coming into the BIM jobs in the market, there are 3 categories of job roles. One is a technical, second is managerial, third is a strategic jobs. When we say about technical jobs, When we say BIM, there is roughly 15 to 20 softwares across the life cycle of the project you need to use. Some softwares are used for planning the projects, and some for developing the BIM model, some for coordination and class detections, time planning, cost planning, safety planning, quality control, logistic planning, different types of analysis like energy, wind, lighting, structural, and it can also be used for facility maintenance. So if you are capable of any of these software solutions, then you fall into the technical job role. This may be softwares coming from software vendors like Autodesk or Bentley or Trimble or Dassault or Nemetschek or Graphisoft. There are roughly 25 to 30 software vendors in the market providing this kind of BIM solutions. Second is managerial job roles. Here is where you are very much aligned with understanding the BIM workflows and able to manage the team and the deliverables during the design, construction, and operation phases. Usually, you play a role of a design or a construction or a facility or a project manager or a coordinator roles, followed by a strategic job roles. This is more on leading the organization and its team or a project and its team towards the digital transformation journey, understanding the kind of digital transformation happening in the global sector and aligning the company activities and the team towards their efforts towards the same lines, planning out the quarterly plans and initiatives and supporting and handholding the companies on day-to-day journey on these lines. It's more of a strategic leadership jobs. Usually it's for it will be strategic coordinator or a manager or a strategy head or a digital director kind of job roles. But these are the kind of possible job roles on BIM. It's not that BIM software is only the one which you need to learn to get into the BIM. So different areas and new job roles are coming into the market. So thank you for listening to me for this session. And again, sharing you my connects here. You are welcome to connect with me for any queries. Thank you so much.